All right, looks like we do have one attender online and Mr. Checker is here to present later. Okay, so you want to speak to the board, feel free to put it in the chat and Jill will let me know later. Any announcements? All right, seeing that there's no announcements, we're going to move to the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? And so moved. Very good. Yes. Motion to also. And the seconds. Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Moving on to the consent items. Anything is written?
Was there calendar revision in our board packet?
Would you like to know why that?
Yeah, if there's a
Okay.
time taken a while.
And sorry, there's an updated, it was in there on Thursday, but there was a change again, so it's updated currently on the website, like what you guys have.
It's my error, trying to get the right cycle for when schools will share their scorecards and when the district will share its scorecards, and I was off by a month. That's why there was a shift. So there's nothing new that got added, I just moved a couple things around.
Any other questions? Okay, I would accept a motion to approve the consent items. I would to approve the consent items as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. All right, moving on to reports. Seeing that there are no licensed or classified representatives here, we are going to move it on to our budget report.
Okay, so I'll briefly go over, which one is this? Oh, okay. Let's see, I want to go in order. So this is, I included two for last fiscal year. This is basically the year-end financials that I submitted to audit, just so you can kind of see where I think we're going to land. Again, they can make some changes after the audit, but just to give you guys an idea, the lunch fund revenue is the first one up here. I think it's pretty close to what I presented last meeting, around $8,500 shortfall, which I think we talked about last week. So that one's not quite as exciting. So this is the submitted amount for the general fund. And so after, transfers and all the things at the end, we ended up with ending fund balance of a little less than 2 million, 1.995. So pretty close to what I was projecting, and that also doesn't include the ESSER deposit that we got at the beginning of this fiscal year that we kind of talked about last year. I think I put a little asterisk in there to kind of explain why we were off, and we were still able to put some money in the curriculum fund and do the transfers that we were wanting to do. So this is what I presented to the audit, is that we're ending with that month-end fund balance. Any questions on this? Okay.
It looks good.
I like it.
That's my
I like it. And then lunch fund for this year, I wanted to make a note too. So prior to this year, we always had combined summer months as period one, which never made sense to me because it's still like an actual month. So I separated it out. There's now 12 periods instead of 11 periods. So there's a July and an August instead of going from summer to September. I just think it gives us, more of a accurate picture of what's happening every single month. So that's one change from last year. And then I just put in for revenues, for projected revenues, I just put in what the estimate would be based on what we budgeted for. And then as things get into September, we actually see more accurate information, in terms of salary and the revenue that's coming in, then I can start adjusting in the future. But today it's, really based on what we budgeted for, not what the actuals will necessarily look like once we run our first real payroll and stuff like that. So you'll see that update, in September. Anyhow, right now, based on the projections, we're running at a month-end fund balance of 18,000, and as we know, that's gonna change, but, this is just where we sit today. So, any questions on this? Okay, and then last. Here is the general fund. I put in what I carried over the beginning fund balance or the ending fund balance from last year and put it in for beginning fund balance. Again, that could change depending on what audit sees, but last year it didn't change much. And again, I added in that extra months, so now there's 12 periods. And then so for July, you can see our total revenue with the beginning fund balance is a little over 3.7 million, taking that out. Our total revenue is about 1.7, and that's because we get double the state school fund in July to kind of get us ready for the school year. And then we don't get a state school fund deposit in June, so that's why you see that extra amount there. And then expenses, pretty typical for this time of year. Our biggest expense was insurance, which we always pay at the beginning of the year, as well as our workers' comp. And so that's why you see that large amount there. So right now, based on our budget projections, putting that information in, we're looking at about a $1.1 million ending fund balance. I would be really stoked if we could trend towards that. But that's where we're at right now. We'll see how things go once the real salaries and all that kind of stuff start coming through. So, any questions on this at all? Right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Move on to Superintendent Stuckey. Your report.
So, there is a lot of print on these slides tonight, and I wasn't able to put animations in, so it's gonna be a lot for me to look at all at once. It's also a fairly lengthy presentation tonight, a report, because when I come to you before the board, I always think, what would the community also like to know, right? And so it was time to give a pretty in-depth review of where we're at with the bond. And Mr. Shecker, I don't believe I will be stealing any of your thunder. So you've got your own information there to share, but a lot of pictures. Also wanted to share what did get done and what's being deferred to next year and why. So that is what is in tonight's presentation. And we're starting with seismic. And as I had shared with the Bond Oversight Committee last week, I wish I had the technical expertise to explain these to you, but I don't. I can remind you though that the seismic upgrades are all about retrofitting foundation and walls for secure purposes in the case of an earthquake. So we have wall construction, roofing demolition happened because they had to get in there in order to reinforce things. Wall anchorage installation, which hopefully this is all coming to a close in the next 2 weeks. It's gonna be close, but it's gonna get done. Southern canopy roof demolition completed. Some of these pictures are a few weeks old, so it's progressed since then. Epoxy injections in the existing beam. The glue lamp arch is the one area where it may not be complete by the start of the school year. And that's because the foundation, they're putting in a new concrete foundation, and that's going to take 2 weeks to cure. And it may be a couple of days after the school year starts before it's ready for kids. But the gym will be ready. Locking and clip installation. Tommy Reedman did a great job of explaining what this was about at last week's Bond Oversight Committee meeting, just reinforcing and making sure that the wall and ceiling are clipped together. Steel strapping installation keeps things very sturdy. And then these two are from the cafeteria, these pictures, clip installation, and then if you look at the picture on the right, that's the ceiling of the cafeteria. Right below where those tiles are missing, there has been a huge gaping hole. And that's because they found some dry rot there and took the roof out and fixed it up for us. So we're thankful for that. So that before I go any further, what kind of questions do you have about seismic?
I just walked along here today at the middle school outdoor area, it looks so pretty. Looks great. Even though it's not quite ready to happen.
They're gonna get there. They're still scheduled to be done by August 23rd, so. And we have another meeting scheduled with them Wednesday afternoon, maybe every Wednesday afternoon to see how they're doing. Other questions on seismic? Bond. So as far as design bid build, we're looking at phase 2 schematic design, and that's for next summer. And then progressive design build, upcoming design options are being reviewed. We're looking at for next summer, the BAM's pod entrance replacements and the access controls. So Mr. Taylor and I will be meeting to take a look at different design options for that. We didn't find, the construction company found a lot of damaged dry rot roofing. And they went to take care of the drainage, and when they pulled the fascia and the soffit, they found dry rot that had been there for many, many years, and in some instances, newer wood put on top of it. So what they've done is they've sealed it all back up for this year because it's gonna have to take place next summer, but it was an unexpected find. But relieved to find it and be able to remedy it.
A lot of that's on the flat of something. It's plastic.
Yep, that is correct. So at St. Mary's, significant water damage was found on the sheathing below all of the large windows. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, given that we have had meetings in there every month. The damaged sheathing was replaced. Likely source of the leaking was discovered to be an improper tie of the asphalt paper above the window header. And then the EPIS investigation, that's still underway. They're being very, very thorough so that we don't have a huge surprise next summer when the work is done. Also at St. Mary's, additional water damage was found in the round vents above the cafeteria space. The new library windows are installed. Finish work is getting done there. The dry sprinkler system repairs are ongoing, but probably coming close to an end. Commissioning and testing of the system will be complete prior to staff return. So I would imagine that will be next week, not this week. And we'll be able to have a board meeting back in the library next month. For MAMS, have a report for what happened in July, so some of it's older information, but we got this after July's board meeting, so I wanted you to have information on the progression. The boiler room demolition got complete, new concrete pad was poured, new pumps. The boiler room was opened up for distribution piping investigation. The fascia and gutters were demolished. Unit ventilators are being repaired, CO2 sensor installation and multi-zone unit refurbishment parts were ordered. And you'll get to see some pictures of this also. For August, new boilers, hot water heater and distribution pumps are installed. They just need to be flushed out, which may have already happened by the time I wrote this and put it in the packet and where it stands today. Boiler distribution piping investigation is complete. They found some sagging piping, not to be overly concerned about, but something to just be aware of. They did not find broader corrosion, just sagging. Unit ventilator repairs are underway. Multi-zone unit refurbishment has begun. areas of fascia board and soffit board that were removed as part of the dry rot investigation had been replaced with new wood, and they closed all that up. JFK in July. Hazardous material abatement, the senior wing restroom and storage areas were demoed, plumbing layouts and rework were complete. Freshman wing, same thing. Electrical relocation in the district records room for band room unit access. And what that's about is that there was an access, but it was very, very hard to get up into the units. And so they relocated it so that a normal person can get up to the access and make sure and investigate what was going on up there in the HVAC system. The ceiling in the girls' locker room was demoed. Again, that was an issue of not having enough room to get up in there and be able to see, to repair and maintain. Unit ventilator repairs, CO2 sensor installation. And the mini split was finally ordered for Scott May's office area and the server area, which tends to get overly long. The freshman wing and senior wing restrooms have gone so quickly, they thought they might actually finish them this summer instead of next summer. But I don't know that that is still the case. They're ahead of schedule, but they may have to shut things down and finish up next summer, but they're ahead of schedule. Electrical panel relocation for the band room unit access is done. The wall has been patched back. The girls' locker room mechanical unit repairs are complete. The new ceiling grid has been installed. Electrical fire sprinkler rub-in is ongoing. A picture of that in the presentation tonight. Unit ventilator repairs ongoing. Bus barn.
I got a question about the bathrooms.
Sure.
And they shut down the whole school year and start again. Is the use of breaks a possibility? Can we get that like Thanksgiving
Christmas
break
or
winter
Thanksgiving.
break, like
I was thinking,
I think that's a strong possibility, and we also meet with OTAC every Wednesday afternoon, so I'll be able to ask that question. I have a very simple question. It would be nice.
Those are
if-
additional bathrooms.
senior wing restroom. Is it?
isn't
That would
it,
be a new single use.
isn't that,
Mhm.
is that the one that's at the very end of the hall?
That's more.
It's been storage for the custodian.
Oh, okay.
And
So it's not a new restroom, it's just a new restroom to them because it hasn't been in use.
So it'll be a new single use restroom, so they're not losing any at this point right now. These will be two new bathrooms, one in each hall.
In the sense that the students would have access,
It
not in the
wasn't
sense
in use.
the senior one was.
I don't remember that. Oh, but still.
Other questions about the bathrooms? Okay. Bus barn. Interior lighting replacement, PCI very generously provided new LED light fixtures instead of retrofitting. So, and then that was at no cost to the district. So that was very generous and very grateful for that. The interior lighting replacement is complete. The roof repairs is a metal roof, so we want to make sure it's not 100-degree weather when we're looking at it, getting that done. That's the only reason that it didn't take place yet. So, but now with this weather coming on for the next couple of weeks, we can get that done.
Is that something that we could put on our Facebook page, special shout out to them?
Now for some pictures. So on the left, relocating the new electrical panel in the records room. It improves access for the band and art unit. And then this picture on the right, this was the shut, without looking at, there's a curved sidewall there. It used to be one big area. It was a storage area. It was a closed down bathroom. Now in the back, it's still going to keep the storage for custodians, but in the front is going to be a single use restroom. This is a similar in the other wing, the Paint Palace is now going to, instead of staying a bathroom, it's becoming a custodial area with the dry a dry mop sink, much to Marty's happiness. And then what was a smaller custodial closet is going to be a single-use restroom. More framing from the restroom storage areas. This is part of the new ceiling grid in the girls' locker room, and you'll see how close that unit is to the ceiling. So we wanted to make sure that there could be access, because it's just right there at the ceiling level. St. Mary's. So these pictures are old now, right? The windows are already in, but that gives you a sense of what had happened earlier in the summer. And then from the outside and when the windows were delivered. Going over there tomorrow, I'm excited to see what it looks like. The dry sprinkler system was a big project this summer, and one of the things that the company needed to do to get in there was to open up an area of the dry sprinkler system in the front area, but it's been taken care of and it's all patched up. Aren't these just the most beautiful
Yes,
boilers
they
you've
are.
ever seen in your life? The new boilers in the hot water
Very
heater
similar
and
to what we
distribution.
had.
It's nice to see those, and you know, like, what, maybe 1/10 the size.
I like the red.
And then this is part of that new wood installed around the perimeter of MAMS at the location where the fascia board is often removed for investigative purposes. That's where they found the damaged roofing. Before I go any further, does anyone have a question or comment about the pictures? I hope everyone feels like they're getting their money's worth. A lot of work happening. So just some miscellaneous things, Energy Trust of Oregon. Funding summaries have been received for St. Mary's and MAMS. St. Mary's is getting incentive totals of almost $40,000 and MAMS just over $76,000. And we're expecting the funding summary for JFK for the next couple of weeks. So it's great to have that information and those benefits. One of the things that I asked OTAC to start doing in their newsletters and also for the Bond Oversight Committee is to put more focus on local partnerships and be able to share that with the community. So bond contractors are committed to investing in and utilizing our local subcontractors. And here's a list of the subcontractors and suppliers that they've been working with this summer. So what exactly got completed? Got the southwest corner windows of the library completed at St. Mary's, replaced air handler piping with the correct size, restored outside air dampers, which was a real problem that kept things really messy. When you have those dampers not working, then your temperature controls are all off. So those have been taken care of, repaired, replaced associated ductwork, evaluated the boiler system piping and are making necessary repairs. And they'll be able to do some of that this fall. Won't have to wait until next summer. I wish I could tell you what a BAS control is. I can't tell you that. I wish I could tell you that. I stole that one from a report and I can't tell you what it is, but I can
Mr.
find out
Checker, do you
for
know what it is?
I think it's something that, well, controls.
It has to do with the HVAC
Yeah, it's a certain, it speaks a certain language, I guess. So all the controls can talk to each other.
Okay.
So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
is that right?
Our visitor put it in the chat.
Okay.
What did he say?
Building automation system. Thank you very much.
I knew S was there, but.
Perfect.
Thank you, Creighton.
Yes. Testing and balancing for optimum performance of the HVAC system and repair to replace the dry fire sprinkler system main
I'm sure Marty
lines.
is so disappointed that he's not gonna have to respond to
Oh,
those issues.
From
Yeah.
a checkbook perspective, those were heavy hits. Every time we got a hole in those, not only was it messy in the classroom, but it was very expensive every time there was a corrosion. So I'm very happy with that. It's deciding not to move. There we go. Did I skip one?
Ma'ams.
There we go. What got done at MAMS, refurbished to original 1967 MZUs and associated ductwork, multi-zone units, I knew that one. Repair select in-room ventilator units as needed. The controls, automatic system right there, testing and balancing, and replace the boiler and domestic hot water heater. At JFK, repaired and replaced air handler unit and associated ductwork at the band and art room and improved access. Improved access to units in the locker rooms as well. Assessed the boilers to make necessary repairs again this fall. Repaired select in-room ventilator units. I don't know if you've ever listened to the units over there at JFK, but they are loud and they rumble. So that should be something really nice for staff to come back to. Testing and balancing for optimum performance, mini split for Scott May's work area, and then of course sewer repairs at the stadium concessions, which will be really nice
Yes.
for football season. And then at the bus barn, evaluated roof and repair leaks and got those fluorescent light fixtures replaced with LED fixtures. So what didn't get done this summer and why? Well, the window replacement at the JFK Library and Sweet Pea didn't happen because we have a very healthy partnership with Sweet Pea. And we didn't want to cause a burden for them and have them have to shut down. That would be cost prohibitive for them. They would have lost a lot of money and probably staff. So they've been able to come up with a solution, which is to use their original location, which is already licensed. They don't have to get another license, use their dining area for a month for infants and toddlers, and then return after a month. So that will take care of that next summer. Very pleased about that. We don't want to lose that relationship. It's a great partnership. Roof drainage repair work. Well, what they found made it hard to be able to address this summer comprehensively. So the repair work for the drains began this summer, but then when they removed some of that rotten fascia to replace it, they discovered all that dry rot. So that's going to get taken care of next summer. And then MAM's boiler distribution piping repair work. Remember how I told you there was some sagging in the pipes? So they're gonna go in and take care of that. Make that all better. Launch tours. So if you didn't see what was pushed out last Friday, this is what's going on Wednesday, this Wednesday evening. Bond tours, walking bond tour, or drive if you wish to drive, but for those that wish to attend, we're meeting at JFK in the Commons area at 5 o'clock. We're going through and seeing what's been done at JFK, then walking or driving to MAMS, and then walking or driving to St. Mary's. And we'll push that message out again tomorrow. And people know. And that is your comprehensive bond report. May I answer any questions for you?
Looking a year ahead and having our great partner Sweet Pea having to move out. Are they needing any help to facilitate that process? Are they having to pull a bunch of stuff out of where they're currently at in order for that month to work for them?
That is a great question. I don't know, and I will ask because I have shared with Alicia Roney, the owner, that there are people that would be happy to help, including the bond oversight committee members. One of the things that we are doing, to be very open with everyone, I'm not charging rent for 5 months because that's about how much she's going to lose in that transition. And that seems more than fair to me. Because again, we don't want her to lose business. She's doing a great thing for the district and the community.
Okay,
Thank you for asking that.
yeah. Thank you. All right, any other questions?
Depending on how popular the bond tour is there a possibility of a second round of bond tours?
You bet. Absolutely.
Because I can't make it on.
Personal bond to her.
Yeah.
Airplane flying out.
All right. Public forum, anybody? Want to speak? Okay, moving on, we have no action items this month. And discussion items, Mr. Shepherd.
So Rachel hit on most of the stuff I was gonna hit on, but that's okay. One thing, so many of you, I don't know if you know who is on the bond oversight committee, but we have some really smart people, not pointing to myself, but I mean, we have some contractors, some, I don't know what your husband's title is, but we have, the committee keeps the OTAC folks on the straight and narrow, in my opinion. We're working really well. We do have a new rep from OTAC, Sean Stoldryer.
Yep, still Briar.
Stoldryer. And he seems to be very knowledgeable, has a lot of experience with schools. So we're really happy to get him, did some talking with him after the meeting and I think it's great. We are planning probably to take a break November through April, May, or March, April, something like that, because there won't be anything to look at or discuss. But I think, yeah, we're a good committee and yeah, the Sweet Pea needs help, we're gonna be in there helping, so that's what I have.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, September work session. Well, now focusing on the continuous improvement plans for the schools. And so looking at our schedule, I know things are busy with Oktoberfest. Is September a possibility, first of all? And if so, we wouldn't obviously be looking until the week after Oktoberfest gets over. So that puts us week of the 16th, we can even push it out a week after that. Is there any dates that will not work?
The entire week of the 16th, I'm out.
Okay.
I'm on vacation, but I'm also on vacation the week of the 23rd, so I'm possibly available. I don't really want you to plan around me in my,
Are you going the whole week of the 23rd?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay.
I just know I'm not going to work.
On the 23rd or that
The whole
whole
week.
week? Ah, nice.
So yeah, planning for the week of the 23rd would work better for me. And
Okay.
then I just can't guarantee that.
I would prefer the
You
Tuesday or
either-
Thursday, that whatever.
You prefer what?
The Tuesday or Thursday. My Mondays, I'm always exhausted. 'cause
Okay.
I'm grandkids.
Let's go, how about Thursday, the 26th?
Yeah.
Okay, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. And 6:30. Do we want to hold that at St. Mary's or here?
We have been holding work sessions here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
District office.
Okay.
Then also start thinking about what are some other work sessions that we want to kind of focus on for the school year.
Were we gonna talk about cell phone usage and policy and review that, or do we want to do that on one-on-ones?
What I was envisioning there would be that the policy committee would be looking at our current policy. Really looking at what's effectively written and what's not, and what's the right match for Mount Angel. OSBA has 3 different versions of cell phone policy. And in my opinion, and others maybe around the table, it could use some reworking. It's from 2014. Which a lot has changed, of course. with technology. So, it might be worth, one, having policy committee look at those, but two, maybe this is the time for the Mount Angel School Board to be trailblazers and consider writing your own policy. It's something to consider.
I think that, since I missed the last meeting, I don't know when the policy committee is meeting this committee month, but
We don't have one scheduled.
that's good. I was gonna say, it's such an important issue and it's such a controversial issue. That maybe that's an issue that the school board generally looks at, all of us look at the policies in the work session and then decide what we want to do. Because, look at the policy we have, the OSBA policies, and then try to figure something out, because if there's gonna be some pushback, there'll be some pushback this year on it. No matter what we decide, somebody's not gonna like it too much.
And I'm guessing that to me, the more tricky part of it will be staff. What are the expectations of staff and their,
Exactly, it's
cell phone usage.
implementation.
That's my
And in
sense,
reading
and
our
I'm not
policy-
sure where we're gonna land.
I don't even think it mentions staff, we refer to students.
Right.
Which might be where we leave it too.
Did we have anything in the step handbook for staff on use of electronics, personal electronics?
I'm sure we do.
There is something in there. I know the middle school has, I don't remember what it said, but I know that there was.
Because it's such a big issue in many areas in the state right now in the nation. And, and so that's just a suggestion, the committee could look at it and bring something back. It's up to what you want to do, but I think it's pretty important it's done soon.
So my question is twofold. One, is that something that we want to do a work session in August about? Or two, do we want to take our continuous improvement plan work session, move that to October, and then put the cell phone work session in September?
I would even go
I think
on
it's-
September, whatever you want to do, because it's pretty dang important to start the
Yes,
school
I
year
agree.
with
I agree.
yeah.
I have capacity in August if we wanted to do it.
Superintendent Stuckey?
Yes.
What do your evenings look like?
I am free. Unless it's a Friday evening.
Yes, we're all busy.
So Saturday nights are good then, is that what you're saying? I think either of those options.
Yeah,
And
whatever the.
maybe
decides,
starting
but I think we should.
I'm guessing we won't wrap it up in one work session, so maybe, we might.
I think we should be able to wrap it up in one work session. So you're gonna look at your policies, you're gonna look at maybe, merging a policy or whatever. But I personally think it's important to have a united front to come out with policy use. Because it's gonna be a push this year, I kind of think, for some families or some students and I'd like to support the administrative staff and the administrators with that.
Superintendent Stuckey, do you
Yes.
feel like we should meet the week of, next week of the 19th, and so when staff returns? This is something that the administrators could talk about in their welcome back meeting?
I know that they will be talking about it with their staff because all three schools are lockstep with policies at this point. And they're going to need to inform their staff of what the expectations are and what you do if the expectation is broken. So that will be introduced to all staff. I think I could go either way. One of my suggestions is also, I've heard positive only from Jessica Brendan so far. And so maybe it's not what we think.
Oh, that would be
I
great
don't
if it
know.
wasn't.
I don't know. I think it's important for Jessica Brendan to give a report also on what she's experiencing. And maybe Mr. Taylor. So I could go either way with either August for September, I think the groundwork has been laid as far as the expectation going out to the community. So if what you do won't, as a board, won't necessarily change what's already being rolled out.
And another thought is when the administrators are rolling out some processes and expectations, maybe a September work session will be better because we'll have more experiences, real life experiences that can be considered at the policy development. So possibly September might be.
They would definitely have some things to share and report back to the board on what they're hearing and what they're experiencing, where are the challenging parts, where are the pieces that are going well.
And rather than trying to have them report to us in August with what they're hearing or real
It
life
actually happened.
happenings.
Well, and you're pretty buried in August anyway,
Yeah.
with staff and that.
And the short notice,
Yeah.
I feel better about
September is fine.
So switching out the topic.
So our
Yeah,
October,
that's-
then when will be our continuous improvement?
Yeah.
Okay, should we set that date right now?
Yes, sure. Yes.
Our school board meeting will be
The
14th.
14,
we're gonna do it the following week.
sure, the 21st.
What evening?
It's good.
Okay. Should we pick the Thursday night? Thursday.
Sure.
Oh, you wanna go then
The 24th,
24th?
or we can do the 22nd, I mean,
I don't
it
care.
doesn't matter to me.
Which one?
Okay, let's go to the 24th, just keep it another Thursday.
Okay.
Is, that's something that, Superintendent Sigmund, you could share with the board, the letters or the policies that each school has written.
Certainly,
And then that way we could look at that before we meet.
sure,
As well.
Had
That would be good.
board policy.
yes,
those
yes,
pieces.
all of those. But I'll send those to you before the work session,
Yeah.
so that you have a chance to see. Send the policies and the parent handbooks, parent student handbooks, and the community messages
Perfect.
in advance of them.
Great,
Sounds good.
thank you. Okay, so we have September 26th for the cell phone policy and October 24th for the continuous improvement. Sounds good.
And if Jill has already invited us to those. Perfect. I've stopped holding them on my calendar.
All right, anything else?
Summer session, when is that everybody meets together? I missed that calendar date. Is
28.
what,
It's a Wednesday morning.
what time, when is it?
Oh,
August
yes.
28th,
August what?
August 28th,
It
right?
is August 28th.
At 7:30.
There is going to be a coffee cart there as early as 7:15, so you may want to consider coming through for this coffee. But the program will get started at 7.
That's at St. Mary's again.
Yes.
August board meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.